Our CBS 2 investigative team found dozens of cab drivers on the street despite long histories of serious moving violations, even accidents.
Tonight, CBS 2's Pam Zeckman investigates why these people are still allowed to be driving a cab. Pam.
Linda Antonio, they're still driving because city, county, and state agencies are simply not communicating with each other about accidents or the traffic court histories of dangerous cab drivers. As their cab sped through Lincoln Park one night, the passengers begged their cab driver to slow down.
We were irate, because we were telling him to stop and he didn't.
Instead, he says, the cab driver, Kawar Galani, passed two other cars and collided with an oncoming vehicle.
All of a sudden, I saw headlights just appear in front of us.
Galani blames the other driver.
He's driving slow, fast. That's what he hit me.
It's the other guy's fault. You were in the wrong lane.
I agree with that.
Galani was ticketed for improper lane usage and leaving the scene of an accident. He paid a $225 fine and received court supervision, a type of probation that does not affect his official driving record.
I can't believe it.
The accident victims say they were assured by an assistant state's attorney that Galani's license would be suspended.
For us to know that we could get in the cab right now with him driving is just not acceptable.
He's still driving because the city agency that regulates cab drivers didn't know about the tickets or the accident.
If we knew about this case, we would have acted on it immediately and made a determination whether or not to recommend that his license be revoked. In all likelihood, we would have.
Incredibly, the city does not directly communicate with the courts or the Secretary of State to get the most up-to-date information on the driving records of cab drivers. Instead, the city relies on the cab drivers to bring in a copy of their state driving record every year when they renew their license, a record we found is often outdated and incomplete. Kawar Galani is a prime example. Since 1988, he's had 48 tickets for moving violations. He was found guilty 3 times and received court supervision 23 times. So you admitted that you did over half of those traffic violations.
Right, I got it.
And the city didn't know it. When you saw all those violations from the traffic court records, what was your reaction?
I was shocked. If we don't have a complete picture of what their driving record is, we can't act on it.
The records are incomplete because until 3 years ago, court clerks were not specifically required to tell the Secretary of State about court supervisions ordered by judges here in traffic court. But our investigation found that in the cases of some cab drivers, supervisions are still not being reported, a problem the Cook County court clerk wants to fix.
Because we're talking about lives. We're talking about people that are driving recklessly and can kill people.
She says she'll create a task force of all the relevant agencies
to make sure that all of our computer systems are talking to each other and all of our people are trained to put in good information.
And now, as a result of our findings, the Secretary of State's office is correcting its records.
As we speak, the records are being updated to include the material you have provided to us,
including all those tickets Galani racked up, convictions he views as on-the-job training in our traffic laws.
How am I going to be learning if I don't make guilties? How am I going to be learn that?
You're supposed to learn the laws, the traffic laws, before you start to drive a cab, not after. Learning the laws.
No education. That's his problem. That's my big problem.
Can you read?
I can't read. I cannot read.
Now the city is reviewing all the driving records of Chicago cab drivers to see if disciplinary action should be taken against some of them. And the Secretary of State's office is renewing its request to court clerks to report all supervisions as required under a state law implemented 3 years ago. Lyndon Antonio?
My jaw was dropping, literally.
Mine too. How can you have a license and not be able to read?
That's what he said. Now, authorities are looking at or trying to find the original tests that he took, but those records are destroyed. He took his original tests in 1988, but they're trying to check that out. I couldn't believe it either.
Incredible. Wow. Right. Thanks, Pam.